ethos.
How's your work-life balance? I'd like to maybe suggest to you that work-life balance is a false construct. Maybe it's entirely the wrong way to think about our lives. What if, instead, I were to ask you, how's your life balance? Take work out of the question. Of course, work is something we do, an element of our lives, but it shouldn't define our lives. Just imagine your last day on earth and think about if you have any regrets. Will it be that you didn't put in a few more hours at work or get that promotion? Or will it be about the missed opportunities with loved ones? I'm Paul Goldsmith, a creative coach and entrepreneur, and you're listening to the Creative Coach Cast. Life is just a series of moments. It's not a destination. So what would it look like for you to live each moment or the moments of each day with intention? Where do you even start? Well, the Gallup organization keeps track of these sorts of things and have evaluated what it means to live a life well lived with intention. There are 5 common elements of well-being that everyone needs. It transcends countries and cultures. These 5 things are essential to you having a thriving life. The first being career well-being, liking what you do every day. The second element ties into the first, your financial well-being. How do you effectively manage your money and resources? But there's 3 other elements of well-being, and number 3 being your physical well-being. Do you have enough energy and good health to get things done and to be present for the people in your life? Number 4, your social well-being. Do you have strong relationships and love in your life? And then number 5 ties into that as well with your community well-being. Do you have a strong community? So when you think about balance in life, it really comes down to an integration of all areas of your life. And we're all human beings. We're not human doings. We need to nurture each part of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. I really think when one of these or 2 of these areas get out of whack is when things turn upside down. And really, necessity is the mother of all invention, they say. So if your balance is out of alignment right now, what a perfect opportunity to really evaluate how you're spending your time each day. It's humbling, really, to acknowledge that you can't do everything. So you might as well decide what it is that's important to you. And just do that. There's this incredible quote by Howard Thurman that I just love. He says, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and then go do that. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive." Isn't that the truth? No more going through the motions. Let's live with intention. And that really starts with clarifying our thinking. The way I do that is by writing morning pages each morning and also reading books by smart people who have gone before us and figured this out about ways to balance our lives. And there's this great book. It's called Calm Clarity by Zoe Kwok. And she's a refugee from Vietnam in the United States. Her entire family escaped the war in Vietnam, but then when they got here to the U.S., they ended up in a violent inner city neighborhood of Philadelphia. And so being immigrants in the United States in a violent neighborhood in Philadelphia, she had a rough childhood. Her parents were trying to give her a better life and encouraged her to work, but were not encouraging education. And so when it came time for college, Zoe asked her parents if she could get into the most prestigious school she could think of. And they said yes, thinking there's no chance she's going to get in. But she did. And she got a scholarship to Harvard. Once there, Zoe experienced even more trauma because she wasn't like the other students. She didn't come from money or a prestigious family. She was an outsider. She didn't feel like she belonged. To calm her anxiety, she began to study brain science and began to figure out what it takes to have clarity of mind, regardless of the circumstances of your environment, to live at peace with calmness and creativity. And then she wrote this book to make it digestible for the rest of us. And she identified there are 3 states of the mind and that most of us alternate between 2 or 3. She calls them brain 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Brain 1.0, we're all familiar with. It's the fight or flight or freeze in a crisis, in a emergency situation. You do one of the three. It's just your innate response to a traumatic or scary encounter. And in a violent situation where your safety is in question, you spend a lot of time in that Brain 1.0 just trying to survive. You don't have much ability or capability for long-term planning. But then there's Brain 2.0. That's where you and I spend a lot of our time working on our short-term rewards. But the problem with this is they're all short-term rewards and we get tunnel vision. Maybe for you, that's working 50, 60 hours a week or consuming a gallon of caffeine each day to get through all of your commitments. But really, when you're in that space, you're sacrificing your long-term wellness for a short-term gain. So what I found fascinating is what she calls Brain 3.0, and that's where your day-to-day actions in the moment are in alignment with your core values, and you're centered, and you're able to be in the world from a space of awareness and wisdom and creativity. How fun is that? What would it look like to walk into each day in alignment and stop chasing short-term rewards at the expense of our long-term well-being? I don't know about you, but that sounds refreshing. Rather than be defined by what we do, what if we look through a lens about how we're showing up in the world each day? And are we present for the people in our lives and the people that matter the most to us each day? When we think about those 5 essential elements of a life well lived, it might be helpful to make sure that you are prioritizing time for your community, your social well-being, your physical well-being, your financial well-being, and then finally, career well-being. If you'd like a sounding board or would like to talk more about finding balance in your life, I'm here. You can reach out on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at Paul J. Goldsmith, or text me anytime, 559-574-3210. Thank you so much for listening.